What's up, all you good people, and welcome to Caffeine Conversation. My name is Shar, and I serve as your host, your navigator, as we journey through all things love, marriage, and divorce. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me for today's session. But before we get into it, let's just go over a few housekeeping rules. First, I am not a therapist, a counselor, or a life coach. I am a woman who is here sharing her experiences. At 40 years old and after 20 years of marriage, I went through a divorce. And let me tell you, that is definitely on my top 5 list of hardest things I've ever been through. But I made it through it, and I am here living on the other side of divorce, whole, well, and healed. And if you're in that space right now, just know that you can live on the better side of divorce as well. 2, Caffeine Conversation is a place of positivity, and that is how we want to keep it. So if you want to engage and interact, all I ask is that you be kind. Just be kind. So go ahead and grab your favorite caffeinated or non-caffeinated beverage. Do you like this mug? I can get one out to you as soon as possible. Just let me know. And we are about to get into today's session. So today we are going to be talking about our friends. So if you are around my age, I am 50. If you are around my age, then you will remember one of the best girl groups ever from the early 90s, TLC, T-Boz, Lisa Left Eye, may she rest in peace, and Chili. TLC was definitely one of my favorite groups, and they also sang one of my favorite songs, What About Your Friends? Y'all can sing it with me. What about your friends? Will they? Y'all remember? Okay, anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to take just pieces from that song and kind of break it down and really talk about our friendships. So when you think about your friends, who do you think about? Now, for me, friendship is a very heavy word. Having friends is not something that I take lightly, and it's not a word that I throw around or give to just anyone. I know a lot of people. But I am only friends with a very small circle of people. Because to me, friends are with you no matter what. Now, I will say, there are some friendships or relationships that are for a season or for a reason. You have people who come into your life. Maybe you had someone come into your life when you were going through your divorce, and they helped you move through that, and they were encouraging, and they were there for you. But as you shifted out of divorce, like you were becoming healed and learning who you were again, and maybe even getting into a new relationship, that friendship may have changed, and maybe you don't spend as much time with that person, and maybe you don't even really talk to that person anymore. You don't hate them, you don't dislike them, but the dynamic of the relationship just changed. There are definitely instances like that. I've experienced that myself. But I have friends who were in my life before the divorce, were in my life during the divorce, were in my life after the divorce, and remain in my life now that I have remarried and I have basically a whole new life. I'm talking about those kind of friendships. You know how people say through thick and thin? That's what I'm talking about. What about your friends? So let's just take the song What About Your Friends from TLC, and let's just break it down a little bit and talk about different areas. Okay, so what about your friends? Will they stand their ground? For me, standing my ground means this is what I believe, this is what I know to be true, and I stand on that. If I say it, I mean it. Do you have friends like that? Do you have friends in your life once they proclaim or attest to, you being their friend, like that's your girl, that's your homie, that's your dude, that they stand on that? And will they also defend you if someone says something ill about you? So I can definitely say I have friends, and I have an example. One of my girlfriends was at an event that I did not attend, and she was sitting kind of at a community table, and this was during the time when I was going through my divorce, like right in the thick of it. And this other person, my name came up, my situation came up, and they were talking about it and kind of making fun of it, and saying things like, I wonder what she did. And my girlfriend spoke up, my friend spoke up and said, I'm not quoting, but she basically said, that's really none of your business. And if you don't know her, you probably should not be speaking on this. And she got up and she walked away from the table. That's a friend. That's a friend, because if you have people who will sit in the midst of conversation about you and not defend you, not speak up for you, not shut that thing down, you may want to reconsider that friendship. So will they stand their ground? Something to consider. Also in the song, it says, will they let you down again? Now, let me just say, nobody's perfect. We have people in our lives. People are going to let us down from time to time. People are going to let us down. For me, the difference is, did you mean to let me down? Did you maliciously let me down? Or was it just a mistake? Like, I didn't mean to let you down. I'm sorry I dropped the ball. Or if they let you down, it was like, no, that's what I meant. I said it and I meant it. And this goes, for me, it goes beyond, being there or not being there, because sometimes people can't always be there for you. You have people say, I'll always be there for you. You're human. No, you can't. What if you're not available? What if you're on a trip? What if you're far away? Even if they call you and they can't reach you. That's a lot of pressure to put on one person to always be there for them. But when you know what? That's my girl, and I know she's there for me. And right now, she can't be there for me, but if she could, she would. Do your friends let you down over and over and over again, and then make excuses for letting you down? That's what I'm talking about. Those are the things that we really need to dig into and reconsider and evaluate when we're looking at our friendships. Then, I don't got no friends like this, but this was in the song, so we're going to talk about it. Are they going to be low down? Are those friends? I cannot. I just cannot, because I cannot think of one person in my circle, in my group of friends, not the people I know, but the people that I trust, the people that I hold close to me, that are going to be low down. I don't know no people like that. If you have someone in your life that you are calling a friend and they are going to be low down, is that really a friend? I would be seriously questioning that. Low down, undermining, being messy, even speaking ill of you, like low down dirty. I would definitely be questioning that friendship. Wouldn't you? Will they ever be around? And I think that gets back to, will they let you down? Like, I know that my friends will be around. But if there's a time in their life that they can't be there for me, it's okay. I don't negate or throw away the entire relationship because you couldn't be there for me one time or two times or a couple of times over again. Especially when you say to me as my friend, girl, I am so sorry I could not be there for you, but I had this going on or I had that going on. I just couldn't be there. Or maybe I even had a friend tell me one time, I just could not be there emotionally for you at that time, at that specific time. I could not be there for you emotionally. And that, to me, was everything. Because, first of all, it was honest, okay? I would have rather her tell me that than to try to be there for me and then fake and pretend and try to be something for me that she could not be in that moment. But instead she told me, I just could not be there for you emotionally. That meant so much to me. And I appreciate her just being just so honest with me about that. Definitely took our friendship to another level. It absolutely did. And then the last part here, it says, or will they turn their backs on you? Again, if these are the kind of people that you are friends with, please reconsider. Again, we know a lot of people. We associate with a lot of people. But who are you calling friends? Now, here's something that I tell my husband. Being that he and I have not been married that long. We've been married, this year be 6 years. And there's a lot of people that that I know that he doesn't know, hasn't been introduced to. And I tell him, because in the beginning of our relationship, he got a little offended when I would like see somebody in the store and I'd be like, hey girl, how you doing? And I didn't take the time to introduce him to that person. And one day he told me, he's like, why don't you be introducing me to these people? I said, let me tell you something, babe. If I don't introduce you to someone, they are not my friends. They're people I know. They are people that I like. But they are people, probably 8 times out of 10, that have no real bearing in my life, that I don't go to them for advice. I don't value their opinion. They're nice people. Nothing against them, but they're not my friends. They're just people that I know. So if I don't introduce you to them, please don't be offended by that. Just know, and this might sound harsh when I say it, but it really wasn't worth the time. Sorry. No, not sorry, because that's the way I feel about it. I do not want to, I'm not investing time into things that is not going to produce something positive. That is the space that I'm in my life. It's a protective place for me, because I have definitely been burned by people who I thought were my friends. And you know what? I'm not the only one. I'm sure we all have. But the friendships that I have now were truly tried in the fire. And that fire was my divorce. They were friends before, but my divorce was the thing that really tested the relationships. These are the people who showed up for me. These are the people who brought me food when they knew I wasn't eating. These are the people who would call me when I wouldn't, or come to my house when they would call me and I wouldn't answer my phone. These are the people who would come and make sure my kids were eating or take my kids to school. These are the people who would come and help me wash my laundry and those things. These are the people who would be like, girl, you got to get in the shower. Like, there was just a time and a space during my divorce that I was so low that I wasn't even doing the basic things for myself. And these people would show up for me. I remember one night, one of my girlfriends, and I use the term girlfriends. I think it's a generational thing. So when I say girlfriend, I'm talking about my girls, my homies. So that's when I say girlfriends, that's the way that I use that term. But one night, one of my girlfriends, she called several times and I did not pick up the phone. So she began to call the circle and it's like, have y'all heard from Shar? Have you heard from Shar? Have you heard from Shar? Have you heard from Shar? And I think everybody pretty much answered no. And I was just sitting in my living room, just not wanting to talk, not wanting to engage, not wanting to do anything. And before I knew it, my doorbell rang and there's my girlfriend at the door. And she was like, what's going on? And I'm like, what are you doing here? She said, I called you. I called you a couple times. I called the other girls. Had nobody heard from you. So here I am. And in my mind, I was like, I don't even believe this. Why is she even here? But my heart was so happy in that moment because I really needed that more than I knew. I just really needed that. So when we're thinking about our friends, let's be intentional who we are in relationships with, no matter where you are in life. Good times in life, bad times in life. Let's be very intentional with who we call our friends. So as you go through the week, why not play that song by TLC? Who remembers it? Who remembers the dance? What about your friends? Will they stand their ground? Will they let you down again? I didn't dress like them, but I'm gonna tell you what, I picked up a lot of great dances from TLC. But listen to that song, listen to the words. And if you can say that you have friends who are letting you down and they're not standing their ground and they're turning their backs on you, might be time to, like I said before, evaluate and assess those friendships. We only want people in our lives who are going to bring us good. Now, let me say this. We're not looking for someone who will always agree with us or someone who will always say yes to that, because that's not a friend. That's a yes man. I'm talking about friends who don't mind disagreeing with you, who will tell you, Shar, you're wrong. I've had to have my friends tell me that quite a few times, not just while I was going through divorce, but yes, while I was going through divorce, but even afterwards, just in friendships, like, Shar, that's just not right. That's not how we handle people. That's not. And who wants to hear that at the time, especially when you think you're right? You don't necessarily want to hear that, but you have to have people in your life who will always tell you the truth. So those are also things you need to look at in relationship. Does this person always agree with everything I say? Are they always kicking in my face and just on my bandwagon all the time? Do they never disagree with me? Do they never think that I do anything wrong? It's something else to consider. What about your friends? Take a look, write a list if you have to. And I'm not saying you go up to people and go, we're not friends anymore. That's not what I'm saying. But you definitely can have conversations with your friends and just kind of say, hey, where do you see our friendship going? Do you value me because I value you? Just have those real conversations. They're not easy. They're not easy to have. But there comes a time in everyone's life where you just want good people in your corner. You just want to have solid relationships that will definitely move with you as you move through the various aspects of life. What about your friends? Thank you so much for joining me for today's session of Caffeine and Conversation, Love, Marriage, and Divorce. Would you do me a favor? If you enjoyed today's session, I would ask that you would hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you will know when I upload new content. I really want you guys to come back and join me again. We are just virtual friends as we are moving through. Some of us are just living it up in love, and others are managing marriage, while others are deciding on divorce. Wherever you are in life, just know that it can be filled with joy. Even if it's just pockets of joy, there is still joy to be had. But it will take some work on your part. In order to become whole and healed and well, it's going to take some work. And I hope that if you're not able to go the route of therapy or counseling, that you'll come over here and join in with me and just listen to my experiences, my personal experiences. And maybe there are some nuggets in there that you can use and apply to your life. That is my goal here at Caffeine and Conversation. So again, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and I hope to see you at our next session. Be well.